Welcome back to another video. My name is Henrik and today we're going to be looking at the Mazda 3 in the hatchback variant, a car that I've been looking forward to driving because it's actually quite an affordable one and also a very good equipped one. We're going to look at everything regarding that. Let's start off with the price. The starting price 28,640 euros. We have the lowest engine variant here, but the highest variant that you can pick up for the exterior, interior and stuff like that, which is the Takumi variant. There's around 5 or 6 different variants that you can pick up. I'm not going to list them all because there's quite a lot. So the rate standing here, 36,640 euros, due to the fact that we also have the red Soul crystal color on here, which is that typical Mazda color, which just looks fantastic in my opinion. Let's start off with the design here in the front. We get a very big grille, typical of that Mazda design, Mazda logo up on the bottom, and a little bit of a lip in the bottom here, with also matrix LED lights, which you do get with the second highest variant standard wise, and we have it on here as well, which is quite nice, especially for the price. What do you think of the color? Let me know in the comments. And let's look at the engine. Like I said, we do have the lowest one in here, which is the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine with a 4-cylinder, which is going to produce 140 horsepower and 238 newton meters as a front-wheel drive variant. With also, we have a 6-speed manual gearbox in here. You can also pick up this variant for 2,000 euros extra as an automatic. That's going to give you from 0 to 100 in 9.5 seconds, 208 kilometers an hour of top speed, and a consumption WLTP of 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers. The highest engine that you could theoretically pick up would be the 2-liter Skyactiv or eSkyactiv X variant, which would be an all-wheel drive variant, a 4-cylinder, also naturally aspirated with 186 horsepower. Just a little bit more powerful engine there, and you can also pick that up as an automatic, obviously. And on the back you can definitely tell we do have the hatchback variant here. We get a fairly big rear window, which is completely tilted in black here, and also a nice contrast of the black roof spoiler up on the top, as well as the diffuser down here. We do also have a dual exhaust pipes, which are actually real. They're not going to sound anything special or anything like that. We get that typical Mazda design here on the back for our rear lights, and we also have a trunk which we can open right through here. We do have a fairly high loading gap in here, and we have 351 liters up to 1,022 liters in the back with an 80-20 split. You cannot flip over the center seat or anything like that. And you can also flip up the bottom here where you're going to have your subwoofer, and then you could put what do you call it? The thing you lift up the car with?
Wagenheber.
A Wagenheber, exactly. The German word is definitely also the one you use in the English variants, and also a head rack on the top. You can also tow up to 1,300 kilograms, unbraked 600 kilograms, and on top of the towing hook, you will be able to put 75 kilograms of load capacity, as well as on the roof, another 75 kilograms. Let's talk about the main competitors, which are going to be the Seat Leon, the VW Golf, and also the Toyota Corolla. Seat Leon, 1.5 liter TSI variant with 150 horsepower, starting price around 1,800 euros more expensive than this car. Toyota Corolla Hybrid, 1.8 liter with 140 horsepower, 33,340 euros starting price, so around 4,000 euros more expensive, actually 5,000 euros more than this one. And then we also have the Volkswagen Golf with 1.5 liter TSI, however only 116 horsepower, and that's going to be almost the same starting price, 28,330 euros. The thing, however, is the quality in this, once we get in the inside, is a lot better. However, I gotta say, we do also have the highest variant standing here, but if you pick up those other cars with those highest variants, you're probably not going to get the quality that you get in this car and the standard equipment that you get with the basic variant in this one as well. So in that variant, it is going to be better. However, when you're looking at, for instance, the space you get in the inside and also the trunk space, competitors are going to have the edge on that. Let's talk about the dimension of the car. So we're looking at 4 meters and 46 long, 1 meter and 79 wide without the side mirrors extended, 1 meter and 43 tall, and also a turning circle of 10.6 meters with a ground clearance of 14 centimeters. The car is also going to weigh at around 1.45 tons. Let's start off here on the side as well. We're going to look at the rims because we do have the highest variant standing here, so we get 18-inch rims. Even with the second lowest variant, you only get 18-inch rims. Just the basic variant is going to come with 16-inch rims. We could theoretically also pick up some darker ones here, which are going to cost you an extra price. I really do love this color, which fits in very perfectly here with all the black contrast in here. Looks quite nice. We also have a tinted rear window, and you can see here automatically foldable side mirrors with also a 360-degree camera, which is quite nice. Side skirts here on the bottom in black, and also we do have keyless entry, so if I go close to the car, it is going to open up. The doors are not going to sound the highest quality. They do sound fairly hollow here, and you can also see doesn't sound the nicest, but how often you're going to open the door? Every time you step into the car, obviously. I don't like this part back here. There's a little bit too much going on where there's basically nothing going on, if you know what I mean. Maybe some lines would have been nice, but that is just a little bit of my opinion. We do also have a storage capacity in our fuel tank of 51 liters. And now join me in the back, where actually space-wise actually not bad. We have quite a good amount of legroom here, and the seat is quite squishy, so I can't put my knees into the front seat. I'm 1.80 m tall, 5'11". Headroom is not going to be that much. If I'm sitting up straight and all the way back, I'm having around 2 finger heights. So if you're over the height of, I don't know, 1.82 m, 6 foot, you will probably hit your head on the top. Actually, maybe you have to be a little bit tall than that. Footroom is quite plenty, so I will be able to put my feet under here quite nicely. We do have nothing in the center, so you can't charge your phone or anything like that here in the back in the center partition here. And we have a little bit of storage space below here. Isofix points are very easy to get to. You can just open those ledges, or whatever you call them. You can open that. We do also have a center armrest here, so we do have 2 cup holders in here. Like I already mentioned, you cannot flip over the center console. And we got 2 lights up on the top. Let's look at the quality here on the side, because that's one thing that definitely stands out. You get nice material on the top and up here, very nice stitching here as well, and quality wise quite nice here. Everything here again quite nice, even in the center. The only thing where you are going to have plastic is all the way on the bottom, but it's not the most cheapest plastics. It's, well, it looks fairly decent, and like I said, quality all throughout here is actually quite nice. Mazda 3 badge here on the side as well, with also quite a big center tunnel. So if you are sitting here in with well, 3 people, the person in the center is definitely going to have to sit quite wide, because that center tunnel is quite big. And here, headroom is definitely, I'm basically hitting my head here if I'm sitting up straight. And now join me in the inside in the front of the Mazda 3. Love this steering wheel, first of all. Absolutely fantastic. Feels really nice in your hand. All physical buttons, and just a really nice design in my opinion. We get this very minimalistic design, which is very nice in my eyes, because you get a nice dashboard, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto connected into the infotainment display. We get a very analog looking digital cockpit, which is quite nice. So it's not digital, it's just analog display. Apart from the center one here, there is a digital implementation behind it. Other ones are going to be just analog. Looks quite nice. And we also get a heads-up display, which you get in the highest variant here, the Tacoma variant. And what I love is just the quality all throughout. All of this is just wonderful material. Down here is going to be a little bit harder plastic, but still quite nice hard plastic. Physical buttons for your climatization or your climate control. Let's put that also into sync. Heated seats and also heated steering wheel. Inductive charging space, 2 loading, 2 cup holders there. You can control the infotainment display through this, or it is also a touchscreen. The thing is, it's not a touchscreen when it is in this menu, but as soon as you have Apple CarPlay or anything like that selected, it is actually a touchscreen. First I was like, okay, do we just have to use this because this is not going to work? But it is a touchscreen once you have connected your Apple CarPlay. A very big center armrest with 2 USB-Cs in here, and a little bit more storage space where I've put my phone in now here. But again, quite nice quality. On the side here, even the Bose sound system, which you do get with the second highest variant standard-wise, looking quite nice, and quality on the side just as good as it is in the back. We do have the 6-speed manual gearbox in here, so let's start off the car. We are going to go into gear, start it up, and there is a 2.5 liter coming to life. The headroom here in the front is quite limited, just like in the back. I still have plenty of enough space, and we do also have electrical seats with memory function, so if I sit all the way on the bottom, even taller people can definitely sit in here. So now I have like 15 centimeters more space, so even a meter 92 could sit in here, but you're gonna have to go further back, obviously. Let's start off looking at the reversing camera, which is going to be 360 degree, so you can see that on the side there as well, and also shows you your trajectory lines on the side. Parking brake, and we do have also have auto hold, which I'm going to turn on, as well as assist when you're, for instance, starting or off on a little bit of an inclination. You're going to have an assist for that as well. And what I love about this gearbox is how simple it is to use. It is quite a friendly one for starters, and also a good one for people that have already driven quite a lot. It is quite easy to drive. And it is actually quite punchy as well, when you're especially in lower gears. If I put down here now, acceleration is quite fast, and shifting is also quite nice. One thing that I am going to critique a little bit is the surrounding view of this car, because in my opinion it's not the greatest. The view out the back is not much. It is quite a big window, so you have a fairly wide view, but you don't have too much on your side. There's also the warning system that just turned on. There's a simple button here on the left. I can press that, it's going to turn off. And I do feel a little bit, well, it feels a little bit tight when you're looking at the side pillar here, because it is quite an extended one, which goes fairly far backwards. You're just sitting a little bit tight in here, but I think it is still quite feasible to sit in here and quite okay. Side mirrors actually quite nice size in my opinion. They look quite decent. The engine is obviously 140 horsepower, 238 Newton meters, and it doesn't have a turbo in there. The thing is, if you want to overtake or drive a little bit more sporty, well, overtake is going to work perfectly fine in this, but if you want just a little bit more punchy one, then you're going to have to upgrade to that 186 horsepower, which is going to be the biggest engine that you can pick up. But this is already quite enough. We're going to accelerate here from 50 up to 100, just to see how that goes. So I'm going to shift down into second. Whew. There we go. 70. And there is 100, so quite good in my opinion. Let's also see the cornering capabilities, because we do have quite a little bit of a nice road here, where we can actually see. So we're gonna go in, he's gonna hold his seat. But I mean, the car definitely has that sporty feeling to it. It's actually quite nice to drive, and the steering wheel just feels amazing in your hand. Front wheel drive here, obviously. There I can feel the car trying to brake out a little bit, but it actually feels quite nice to drive, and it does give you that sporty punch. It feels quite agile, and I just love the steering wheel. I've said enough now, but it is a really comfortable and great to handle steering wheel. We do also have a couple of assistant buttons on here. For instance, we have our cruise control and stuff like that on here. Adaptive cruise control with lane centralization works quite nice, and also our volume button and stuff like that. So really nice that you all have physical buttons on here. Works good. We do also have that matrix LED light, which does a good job here at night, illuminating out the road and also not blending on outcoming traffic, and in general quite nice. The suspension here, I've read online that sometimes it is a little bit more of a firmer one and doesn't smooth out a lot of bumps too pleasantly. I haven't really had no issue with it. Feels quite okay to drive so far, and quite smooth as well. What I think is also quite decent is the isolation in here. It is quite nicely isolated from the outside, and it just feels really comfortable to drive in here. The suspension, like I said, I don't really know why they said they don't like it too much. A couple of German magazines, I think it does a quite decent job. And let's now talk a little bit more about the consumption. So you can see on the right, 520 kilometers. The car is still fairly full, and the nice thing about it is that we just get that 51 liters of fuel capacity, and that allows for a decent range. So WLTP claims 5.9. Realistically, you're looking between 6.5 to 7 liters. But the thing about a manual gearbox, you can always adjust it quite nicely to your driving style, and you can manipulate the consumption quite a lot with that manual gearbox. So it always comes down to your shifting capabilities and stuff like that, how you drive. But 6.5 to 7 liters is what you're kind of aiming towards, which is definitely a little bit high, or higher than claimed, but still with that 51 liters of fuel capacity, you actually get quite a decent range out of this car, and therefore quite flexible over longer distance as well. Turning circle here for the city is also 10.6 meters, and definitely for the city the car is also quite decent, because you don't have too long of a car. You get a fairly decent camera with high quality, and then that surrounding view is also not too important because you just have the capabilities of that 360-degree camera to guide you into that parking spot, so you will definitely find one. And in general, just, I really don't know what else to say, because the car really doesn't have too many flaws to it that I'd say it's, I don't know, there's really not much to critique about it in my opinion, because it is actually really nice to drive. The gearbox is nice, the driving characteristics is nice. Yeah, I don't know what to say. So what is my final verdict on the Mazda 3? I personally really do love the basic equipment that you get in here, quite a lot of safety features. The gearbox is great to drive as well, especially for also a person that is quite new to driving a gearbox. It's quite forgiving. A manual gearbox, obviously. When you're looking at the inside, I really do love the simplistic design with a lot of physical buttons, not a huge display, Apple CarPlay, wireless, inductive charging space. It's all implemented quite nicely. And the price, you can definitely not speak against it, because you get, like I said, a lot of standard equipment that is quite nice. Space-wise, competitors are going to have a little bit of an edge, but I think it is still quite okay. Loading gap in the back is quite high, and if you're sitting in the back above around 5'11", you are going to have a little bit of an issue there with your headspace. But otherwise, I think it's a very good car. I love the engine here as well. It is quite easy to drive, and like I said, quite also gets a little bit of a punch there. If you're looking for a little bit more punch, overtaking capabilities, then maybe the higher engine variant is going to be the choice for you. What do you think of the Mazda 3? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.